In the last video, we were doing some coding experiments with this image using the transform translate property. Let's do that again. Let's actually center this image in the middle of the page, and let's do that with a transition property also. So let's go to the code. Now remember, the image had an ID of transform, so let's create a property that's transform and translate. We're going to translate it along the both x-axis by minus 50% and the y-axis. So we get a minus 50% for our second value. Okay, so remember that minus 50% on the x-axis is to the left, and minus 50% on the y-axis is up. So what this is going to do is going to translate our image, which was centered in the middle of the page at the top left corner. It's going to move that to the left half of its width, and then move it up half of its height. So it's going to put the center right in the middle of the page. So let's take a look at that. Okay, so now it's in the center of the page, but let's apply a transition property and then add that class with our click of the button. So let's go back to the code, and so I'm going to comment out the transform property. Now, since it's positioned at the top 50%, left 50%, its top left will be in the center of the page. So let's take a look. So when I refresh, now you see the top left is at the center of the page. I'm going to put an X with my screen recorder so that we can mark where the center is. And then I'm going to go back to the code and take this transform translate property, copy that, and down here underneath I'm going to replace it with our transform class that we're going to add with the click of our button. Now let's save that and refresh. Now when I click the button, see, we get the transform. It centers in the page, and we're doing it with a transition. Now this transition property has to have at least two values. It has to have the property and the duration. So in this case, we're going to transition anything that can be everything all, and we're going to do it in 2 seconds. But if we change that 2 to a 4, let's see what happens. See, now we're taking 4 seconds to do the transition. Okay, so let's go back to the code, and now this transition property, that's the shorthand. Let's go ahead and write it out, the whole longhand versions. We need the transition property, and we can use the keyword still all. We're going to do that for now. And then we need the transition duration. Okay, there are others, and we're going to, again, we're going to put that as 2 seconds. It's going to be the same thing. So I'll go and refresh again, click the button. We have the same transition. We just wrote it out in the longhand version. So there's another property. It's called transition. See it right here in my code editor, transition delay. What do you think that does? Well, of course, it delays the transition. So we're going to delay it by 2 seconds. Go back and refresh. Now I click the button and nothing happens. But 2 seconds later, we get the 2-second transition. Try that again. Click, nothing happens. 2 seconds later, it transitions. So here we use the property all, but our property that we want to transition is transform translate. So let's copy that and replace that with the all keyword, and we're going to get the same thing. displays, and then it gives us a transition. Okay, so let's go over this. We have remember when we translate by the negative along the x-axis, we go to the left, and we translate minus along the y-axis, we go up. But when we're going 50%, we're going 50% of the element's width, not its container's width. Same thing with when we go up. So that's why it's going to center it in the page. Okay, so let me get rid of this extra semicolon there. There's another property, it's called transition timing function. See it right here in my code editor? This transition timing function will be the topic of our discussion in the next video. Anyway, well, thanks for watching, and if you like this video, please share it. And if you don't like it, please let me know down in the comments below. Let me know what you don't like about it, and maybe I can somehow improve my other videos. So, also, if you have any questions, go ahead and post them down in the comments below. Anyway, I hope to see you in the next video.